What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar with C-Zar Gets Crypto, and we are talking about compound COMP comp today on the USD pairing on Coinbase. Looking at this, actually, I wonder if we go to Binance, does it have more? It's got like the same historical data. I'm cool with that. Look at this volume, man. It's beautiful. Very, very beautiful volume. A lot more volume. You know, on Coinbase, it's still a lot of volume, but it's a lot more significant on the Binance chart. You can see it, right? It doesn't look significant, you know, relative to this, but if you go through and you actually look at what the volume reads itself, here it says 5.261 million. On Coinbase, it says, you know, at the highest peak was 843,000. So just to put it in perspective, you know, Binance definitely has all the volume, and a lot of the volume, the most volume that we've seen for compound, has come out of this all-time low pump that we had, right? We are in this overall range of accumulation. I am checking in on this thing a little bit more regular than usual because I want to. I think that we're doing some significant things. We might be getting ready for a move, a nice pop up, bigger than this. That's going to take us out of this whole kind of range here, and maybe it'll take us up to like this area, this previous area of resistance. Maybe it'll take us up to this previous area of support. That would be, you know, somewhere around like above $150, maybe all the way up to like $200 and something even. Maybe just below 200, something like that. Previous area of resistance here at this previous area of support, so somewhere around 200, above 150 though is what I'm thinking would happen. We're all the way at $43.82 right now. That would happen in a relatively short amount of time when it happens. Now, I don't think that it's going to happen necessarily like this week or next week. Maybe it does, but when the breakout does happen is what I'm trying to say. It is going to be a move that's somewhat significant. It's not going to be a long move up to those prices, right? It's going to be something, you're going to get a nice pop, probably bigger than this, right? More dramatic than that. And for the kind of effect that I'm talking about, I think it's a good point of reference to look at the daily here to kind of see what I'm saying. This is, you know, a smaller scale, but you move down, you have this area of accumulation, and then, you know, you had a nice move up at, like, through this area of accumulation. This was your nicest move up right here, right? In 2 days, you moved up 21%, whatever, you know, and then here you had a much bigger move, noticeably bigger move, because that was a breakout from this overall range. If we do the same kind of idea, the same concept on the weekly, where here you are in this accumulation phase, yeah, you have this nice move here, where the 21% on the daily, this on the weekly was like 269%, that 21% was back here, because that was on the daily. This is the weekly time frame. Each candle is a week here, where each candle was a day before. Enough over-explaining, but if this is the candle that we got within this range, I could only imagine that the candle we get when we break out of this range would be bigger. So actually, maybe we actually even go above 200, something like that. I don't know. You know, if it starts here, something like that, up to 200 that'd be like 500. So that'd be like double the move, you know, overall. But something like that, you know, I think would be in the wheelhouse of expectations. If we take the top here, the all-time high, to the all-time low, and we look at that, it kind of lines up very well with this 618, the golden ratio itself. Coming into previous areas of resistance again and previous areas of support, somewhere right in the middle of this zone. From the current price, that would be a overall growth of about 400% to 500% potentially by the end of the year, 570% by the end of the year. So big growth. I think it would happen fast when it does happen. If we're in this range still by the end of the year, then maybe it happens next year, you know. I do think that it'll take a little bit of time, right? This took 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, whatever, from bottom to top here. So I don't think that, you know, in 1 week we're just going to move up there, but I think in a couple months, whenever things start going off, which it might already have, like we might be in the beginning of this fantastic move up right now, it'll take like a couple months or so, and we have like 3 months left in the year. So I do think that fits with the idea that we could see a 400 to 570% growth from the current price by the end of the year with compound. Looking at the weekly RSI, man, this thing's beautiful. And I know I'm talking about some of the same stuff I've been talking about in my videos with compound lately, but you got higher lows, higher highs. You can just see how, like, yes, we are below the 50. Yes, we rejected the 50. That's not necessarily a good thing, but you can see this like overall kind of like ascending structure you're in with the RSI, right? It's nice to see. It's kind of like an ascending channel of sorts. You have low here, higher low, and then here you actually have a low. This was a slightly lower low, somewhat of a double bottom, but you can see where the RSI is not in a double bottom, so that is bullish divergence, further promoting more bullish divergence with this low and another higher low here. You had double bullish divergence on your weekly, coming off your all-time lows. Very significant volume that followed afterwards. I do think that's the low. I do think this is a higher low here. It fits the bill in my opinion, and I think we're going up. I really do think we're going up. If and when we go lower, if we were to go lower. I don't think it would be by much. I think that this very well today at the low of $42.41 could have been the low before we make our next move up. And the reason for that is because, we broke out of this range, came back, tested it as support potentially, and then run up from there. That would make sense to me. Looking at it on a fib scale, this was a double bottom too. Bottom here, bottom there. It could also make sense to come down to your 618, the golden area, the golden ratio, 618 to the 40, or the 69 to the $39 level. Something else that lines up with that is if we take this top here to bottom of this previous range, the 50% right in the middle, the 0.5, that's like right in the middle. I know I've got a lot of fibs on here. I'll delete this real quick. But the 0.5 is the middle of this overall range of accumulation, right? You take the high, you take the low, so halfway in that range will be the 0.5, 50% right there. So it's very common when you break out of a range to come back and test that as support or resistance. In this case, we'd be testing it as support. It's very common. We don't have to. It doesn't have to be like that, but look at how well respected this fib is. You held the 382 as support, held the 786 as resistance a little bit. You actually came back and found support on a previous fib that you found resistance on. Resistance right at the 1414 extension. This isn't like a kind of classic model of the fib, but it is being respected still to some degree. And that makes sense to me. You take a high to a low on a bottoming range like this, you probably will see respect on the extensions going up. But pair that with the fact, right, the 0.5 is down here, which also comes in line with this 618 to 69 level. I know that the lines are kind of confusing, but you got this white line here, this white line here. This is the golden area, and that yellow line in the middle is the overall halfway point of this previous range. There's a lot going on in that $39 to $40 level, but I think Compound has a lot of eyes on it. I think that it is one of the coins that is being watched and is heavily anticipated to do well. So it wouldn't surprise me if we did go a little bit lower, but we didn't quite reach that 618 level. So my lowest buy order for Compound was at $42. I've been DCAing until recently, until this pop. Now I've just kind of been waiting for this pullback to get in. And I have gotten in on all of my orders. I had a buy order at 45, 44, 43, and I had a buy order set at 42 as well. That hasn't been hit yet, but I think I'm just going to move it up, and I'm probably just going to send it right here at about $43.60. Like whenever I'm done with this video, I'm going to get things lined up to just make a buy, because this very well could be the low. Today could be the low, and we could turn around from here and start making this magnificent move up by the end of the year. So I don't think it's going to be a straight move. I don't necessarily think it's going to be like this right now. We're going to see movement like this take place more so when we get toward the top of the range. We'll probably like crawl our way up here, meander a little bit, maybe have a little dip, whatever, and then boom. It's always the pumpiest right after the dumpiest, right? This is the biggest red week out of this whole range, and that's when we sent it up, right? Here you're moving sideways for a little bit. You had your biggest red candle, and if you bought on this week, you didn't catch the exact low, but you bought near the low, right? Stuff like that. I don't know. It's normally pumpiest right after it's the dumpiest. That's the words of Ivan on Tech himself. But again, just a lot of bullish stuff going on with Compound, you guys. If you don't know who Ivan on Tech is, you guys should look him up. He's a brilliant mind. I think he's younger than I am. Pretty sure he's younger than I am, but he knows a lot more than I do. That's for sure. Definitely like his take on things. He's been wrong before, but he's been right before too. We are all going to be wrong. We're all going to be right at times. But let's just see here. Yeah, this weekly, man, it looks really good. The daily RSI, we are above the 50. This could be a classic area to bounce from right here, like somewhere in this area. Maybe we go a little bit lower, but bouncing off the 50 on the daily would be kind of a classic move. We could go a little bit lower. It looks like we find support oftentimes at this like 40 level, so maybe we do go a little bit lower into that area, but I'm not playing the game with it, man. I just want to get in. If we go lower, I bet it'll be a wick, and if you don't have buy orders set, you're probably not going to catch it unless you're watching it like a hawk. So the 4-hour RSI looks weak, and at the same time strong. You've got lower lows here in your RSI, higher lows there. That's hidden bullish divergence. You get that in uptrends normally whenever they play out. And you have an uptrend. You have higher lows and higher highs right here. This is your high taking you out of this range. Higher lows throughout the whole way. This is another higher low itself. Maybe you do, again, come down to this purple line somewhere around $42 or something like that. This previous area of resistance, something like that. You might even go below the purple line. But I think that somewhere around here would make sense, if not here, to turn around. Maybe you do go a little bit lower. Maybe you do. Either way, though, I'm not going to play the game, man. I'm going to move my buy order up to probably like $43, let it hit there, and then just go along for the ride. I will continue to DCA into this thing. I'll keep you guys posted on that as well. You know, even as we're going up, I'll continue to DCA. I think this thing is worth investing in, at least from my perspective, probably until it's like above $100, something like that. I mean, it might even be worth investing in above $100, you know, but I just think like the prime time for getting in it is truly below like $80. But right now we're at like half that, so I'm not gonna mess around. I'm just gonna get in. I really like Compound a lot. It's one of the top coins that I'm going to be investing in. It's definitely not the biggest bag that I hold, but it's a bigger bag for sure. But that's all I got for you guys. If you like the video, leave a thumbs up, subscribe to see more. I appreciate all of you. Take care. Bye-bye.